welcome back to Simply Fujica, a place for budding and aspiring entrepreneurs. Guys, I am so excited to bring you today's video. You guys know that as a part of me launching my new home care license course, I have committed to you that I would bring you nothing but home care topics for the month of October. So just a little bit more about the class. It does actually begin on Saturday, November 5th, and it runs 6 weeks until Saturday, December 10th. So you don't want to delay. You want to go ahead and register and get your seat because enrollment is limited. But in terms of today's video, we are welcoming back Hawa. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much for coming again.
Thank you for having me.
You know, it's so nice because you guys, I brought her back because of popular demand, duh. But today we're talking about, you guys were excited when we talked about launching your business. What does that look like? And so what we wanted to discuss today is some of those challenges that you might encounter. Because I know sometimes we think, man, I've got my passion, I've got my business concept, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna run with that. But then we really sometimes don't account for those challenges that sometimes you're presented with as you go on your journey. So Hawa, because this is something that she kind of opened up to us about, I thought she would be a great person to kind of talk through that. So guys, if that's something you want to listen to, and I hope it is, then stay tuned. Okay, so guys, we decided to kind of talk this or break this up pre-launch and post-launch. So let's start with pre-launch. Okay. Tell us some of the challenges you kind of encountered before you launched the business.
Okay. So pre-launch, a lot of the challenges I faced came based on lack of information. It's so easy for you to go online and say, hey, I want to become a caregiver. How do I start? Now, you do get a basic information, but they don't tell you all the nitty-gritty stuff that you need to know to make it easy on you as you go through this journey. So for me, one of the first problems I had was I had already created my platform, I did my advertising, and now I'm having problems getting feedback or getting clients in because I don't have enough information on those platforms. By information, I mean background checks, things like that, you know, your vaccine cards, because nowadays, you know, post-COVID, people want to know that you're vaccinated in order to invite you into their homes to take care of their family. Drug tests was something I didn't know either. So I had to take down all those information, go get the paperwork, the necessary things that I needed, and then come back and refresh my whole online presence again, just to have some clientele come through. So that was something that I missed out on, which is fine because I was able to come back and rectify it. Hopefully through this you can learn and your experience will be a lot easier.
That's okay. But now you did say that once you went back and refreshed all your platforms, I think you got 2 clients back to back.
Yeah, within like a week I got 2 clients. I got an email and she was so happy that I was so close, you know, someone that can take care of a family, which was great for me because, you know, it afforded me, like it gave me hope.
Yes.
That things were gonna look up, and honestly it did from there. It really, really did, and I'm glad about that. And another point that I actually want to bring up was calling your state's health department and getting a list of all of the home care registries around your area. It's up to you how, you know, what your radius is, what you're able to do, because you obviously have to drive to these homes. And as soon as you mention that to them, they are very willing. Some places have different criterias. For me, I had them ask me if I had a business license, which I was able to provide for them before they were able to release that list to me. I know that other states are different because while I was doing my research, some places don't even ask. They just willingly give you the information or give you a website link where you get that. And then another thing that I didn't know about was actually applying to become an in-network provider.
Nice.
I know that a lot of people, when they get dental or health insurance, you see it, but you don't really know what that means or what that is. All they do tell you is if it's out of network, you have to pay for it on your own. But when you apply to be an in-network provider, you are already on a list that's out there for everyone to see. It's almost like advertising your business for you for free.
Yes.
You know, they post you on there so you're easily accessible by big businesses, small businesses, local families and stuff like that. They're able to see the services that you provide instantly if they use that tool as a means for their family. So that's another.
So this is beautiful, because this is the question that we get a lot, is how am I going to find my clients? Where are my customers coming from? And again, it was nice that that person decided to be a resource for you and share that. But guys, having access to those home care registries, that's a blessing. That's a huge blessing.
Absolutely.
But again, that's part of that hustle we talked about in the first video we did together, which if you haven't watched, I'll make sure it's linked above. But that's part of that hustle. Like, you gotta get out there, you gotta make connections, you gotta build that network of your own, so that when you have things like this come up, you know how to rectify these things. So I love that. The in-network provider, that is huge, guys, because again, to your point, that network is doing the walking for you. Absolutely. They are literally like, hey, get on our network so we can put you out there. So we can let all of our customers know that you're ready and able to take on more business. So that's beautiful. Those were two huge gems, so I'm excited for that. Any more pre-launch issues we need to talk through, or do we want to go transition to post-launch?
I think we could transition to post-launch.
All right, guys, let's talk about post-launch. Let's talk about what happens once you start your business.
So for me, one big issue I had was, to be honest, I walked in blindly. I was like, I don't care what happens. I got my first client. Yay, let's go. And as soon as I got there, they're like, so how much do you charge? I was like, can I get back to you on that? Because I didn't think to like set that up in place and put all that paperwork in place. Now, one thing I do like about the online research that I did is when it comes to your paperwork side, the logistics, your ledger, there is a lot of information. If you just take the time and do your research, there is so much information when it comes to that. So for me, I use QuickBooks as a way to log and register my income and expenses for my company. Another thing that really helped me, and I don't know if this will work for everyone, is I have a company credit card. This makes it easier when it comes time for you to file your taxes, because you don't have to go back to your personal account and start looking for all those expenses. It takes a lot of time. If you have a credit card, you just pull that information out and it's good to go. So that's one thing that I wish I would have known before then, and also the rate. Come up with the rates you're comfortable with. For me, based on each client and what their needs are, that's the rate that they get. And I make sure that before I step into their house, this is when you first go there and you're doing your assessment to see what you can offer them, come up with a contract. And that contract is going to state that this is what I'm coming here to do for this person that lives in this address. This is the rate that I'm charging them per hour based on the following activities that you'll be performing for them while you're with them. It's very important that they sign that paperwork on the first day, because that tells you that they're okay with the price, with the amount of stuff that you have to do, all those things. It's very important. So you sign it, you make a copy for your records, and you make a copy for the family. You date it, and then you file that away. Be very organized when it comes to your paperwork. For me, every client has a file that has every single thing, every kind of interaction that I have with them from the beginning up until where we are at the moment. I put everything in the book, even if it's not organized, because I know it's so easy for you to just come and throw stuff in there and go away. Just make sure it's in one file. Yeah. So you can always go back and pull up that information and just say, okay, this is all I have on this one person. It's very important. And then also just to on how you organize yourself, like, not organize yourself, but how you care for this person. Yes. For me, every single day I go there, okay? So I've given them the contract. They've signed it. They're okay with it. I have another form that lists all the activities that I will be doing with this client. So every day that I go and I perform that activity, I have them sign it and say, okay, it was all done, just so that you know. I always say, if it's not documented, it was not done. That's something that I live by, honestly, because when it unfortunately in this business, with all the good stuff comes the bad. So you might get subpoenaed for whatever reason, you might get families trying to sue you, but if you have all this paperwork, you will be just fine. You will be absolutely just fine. So it's very important to keep track of all that stuff and make sure that, you know, you're organized from the beginning all the way to the end. And then again, like I mentioned, the company credit card, it's up to you. You don't have to, but for me it works because I know that that one credit card, that one account is just for the business and the business alone. Another information that I was so excited to see when I was doing my research is the tax information side of things. When I did my research, I saw a whole breakdown and it made it so much easier. I saw what forms I needed to fill out as a self-employed person. So you have your 1040 form, that's just for your individual form. And then you also have your Schedule C, which is for your profit and your loss in the business. And then you have your Schedule SE, which is a supplemental form, you know, for, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then you also have your income and expenses for all of that kind of comes together and follows each other. So if you're somebody that doesn't know anything about taxes at all and you go online, you will find all of this information. Just be patient and do the research before you start. And it's very, very helpful. Very, 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 very helpful.
I love this. I actually love the transparency of this conversation because, guys, I kind of remember starting our agency, having a long, beautiful conversation, and the gentleman says, so how much do you charge? I was like, how much do I charge?
That's happened to all of us at this point, right?
Right. So, you know, it's very laughable to us now, but when I talk about putting together systems, that's what I'm talking about. What is your intake process?
Right.
You know, when you come over with your onboarding folder, what's in that folder? You know, to Hawa's point, what services are you offering? Right. How are you breaking that down to now that those services now equate to the following rate? So that's a system. That's what we're talking about. Because I know sometimes I get that question a lot. When you say systems, what does that mean? Every action or task associated with your business belongs to a system. Okay? In terms of the company credit cards, that is huge. I know you guys hear that a lot. Don't commingle. Don't commingle.
Right.
And listen, I would say a lot of us commingle.
Yes, we did.
And so, but to your point, I love that you say this. You want to make sure that you're organized. You could just, a standard Excel spreadsheet to keep track of your expenses. All of us bank, most of us bank with the bank. What does that statement look like? Go ahead and translate that information because a year from now, you're not going to remember what other was for $500.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you're keeping track of that. Make an appointment with yourself every month, bi-weekly, to really discuss and understand what those expenses are. Because to Hawa's point, you're really not knowing if you're making a profit if you're not tracking what's coming in and what's going out. Okay? So very good stuff. I love everything that we're talking about here. So I would like to talk to that patient care. We just wrapped the video. I'm not sure if you guys will see it by the time this video is posted, but you know, you hear a lot about mental, you know, well-being and mental health, especially with our senior population. So kind of tell us some things you've ran into just in terms of maybe not wanting the care that day, refusing to eat, things of that nature.
This is something I have a lot of experience with. About, I want to say 90% of the clients I've had have always had some issue when I start working with them. And when I say issue, I don't mean like their physical ailments that they're working with. I'm talking mostly mental. You have to understand that they're vulnerable right now. You know, they used to travel, they used to work, they used to walk, they used to talk, they used to eat by themselves, drink water by themselves, and a lot of them can't do that now, you know? So there's no room for any type of judgment or criticism and stuff like that. If you are passionate about this, it would be so easy for you to walk into the client's room, make a joke, and they laugh, and you just go on about your day. Which usually works for me, because that's what I always do. Yeah, if you put yourself in their situation, you're able to get in your car and drive to the store, buy your groceries, buy water, go home, take your groceries in, and, you know, organize your pantry. They can't do these little tasks anymore. You know, some people always think that, oh yeah, they're just being, you know, people are helping you all day long, you shouldn't feel this way. No, they had a full, adventurous life before you showed up. So think back to when they were that way and make them feel that way again. However little it is, even if it's just putting makeup on them one day and deciding to wheel them outside and just be under the sun. Little things like that, trust me, make a difference. And I can say this, and I'm very proud of that, is when I start working with the client and they're down on themselves, by the time I leave them, they're different. And I can attest to that 100%, because
I can attest to it too.
yeah, because I think that's where people forget. Like, they forget the humanity side of it. They think about it more of a business, and it's just, I want to go in there, make my money, and then I'm out. You know, I'm only supposed to be here for 4 hours, so as soon as that 4 hours is I'm gone. But I'm the kind of person that after 4 hours, if I still see them being sad, they don't even have to pay me. I don't have to be on the clock. Just a human-to-human thing. You want them to feel better, because they'll go to bed wanting to get up the next day because they know you're coming.
Yeah.
That kind of feeling is where I get a lot of my satisfaction from. So I just urge you guys, like I always say, if you know you want to get into this business, please have a passion for it. Not just saying, oh, I like to take care of people because I take care of my mom. No, you have to be patient. You have to be diligent. And you have to be funny, because
correct. And if all else fails, coffee.
And that works too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and I always like to say too, you know, we are mandated reporters, so that's something to consider. You know, I say that really sensitively and really carefully, because not everything is a reportable issue.
Right.
So I do want to make sure that I stress that. However, you cannot decide to just turn the other cheek, especially if you know that something is going on. So I just caution you to really be that person's advocate, to make sure it is nothing more than just maybe the blues, a little bit of being down, but you can't be afraid, you know, and this person actually may be depending on you to raise your hand and say something. So I just kind of want to throw that out there. If you are a caretaker and you're really not sure what the process is as a mandated reporter, you should be reaching out to your employer to understand what that process is. And it can be as small as just raising your hand. If you are a home care agency owner, or you're the employer, anyone who goes to someone's house on your behalf should know what your reporting policy is. Okay, that should be a part of your onboarding. That should be a part of your orientation. Okay. What else? Any additional thoughts?
No, I think I pretty much said all I wanted to say.
Nice.
Yeah.
This was beautiful. So now by the time this wraps, this will be the 3rd video this beautiful person has blessed us with. I'm going to say blessed us with. But we do. I want to thank you for your service, because you don't always get a chance to see your caretaker outside of the uniforms, outside of the scrubs, outside of the environment, the care environment. So, you know, I think the respect goes a long way. And so you just want to remember, I love what you said. This is a person who sometimes up until very recently was living a normal, active life. And I always say, put yourself in that shoes, you know, as you said, where now you can't get up and go to your car and drive and get something to eat, or you can't do the basic care for yourself. That's a very humbling experience. And so you just want to keep that in mind as you care for people. I also like to, something that Hawa said, a lot of what she said today is understand your resources, knowing what your resources are. Because challenges happen to all of us.
Yeah.
They happen to all of us, no matter how good you are, no matter how much research you do. You want to be prepared for those things, but those things do happen. So you want to make sure you understand who your resources are, and some of that is good old Google, some of that is making some phone calls, and then some of that is good old-fashioned luck. But you guys, you can do it. I love this video. I love the information sharing, because we're really both here to let you know that you can do it. Okay? So guys, that's all we have for this video. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this information. Definitely share this information with someone who may benefit from it. Last but not least, you guys, stay blessed.